Alright guys, welcome to this page of the notes. What we're going to do is we're going to start doing some problems together that's matrix multiplication. Alright, now what I'm going to do as I make my way through these next couple of example problems is I'm going to start off showing you everything, right? In the first one, I will show every single possible little detail as I go through it. Then as we move on to the next ones, I'm slowly going to show less and less work. Things that as you get more comfortable with multiplying matrices together, things that you'll be able to do in your head. But for the first one, let's put everything out there, right? We're going to show you all of it. So here we go. First thing I need to do is first determine, is matrix multiplication even a defined operation? So I need to find the dimensions. I have a 2 by 4. 2 by 4. This one is a 4 by 2. I need those middle numbers to be the same, and they are. So yes, matrix multiplication is defined for these matrices. So let's go ahead and do it. Remember the way this works. You want to work your way kind of through a logical progression as you do this. So I like to start row 1. Column 1. Row 1, column 1, and here we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do multiplying corresponding positions, and then you sum all of those products together. So here we go. I'm going to have 3 times 4 plus 2 times 0 plus 0 times 3 plus 1 times a negative 2. I'll add all those guys together. When I sum them together, I get that first element. That is row 1, column 1. But now that I've taken care of row 1, column 1, I need to go ahead and do row 1, column 2, because that seems to be what makes the most sense to me. So here we go, let's do that. Well, in order to do row 1, column 2, row 1, column 2, all that stuff's going to go right here, and I'm going to have multiplying corresponding elements and then adding them together. So I would start off with a 3, sorry, there we go. Here we go. 3 times a negative 1 plus 2 times 2 plus 0 times 1 plus 1 times 0. I'll add all those guys together and it'll give me the element in that position. Let's keep going. I have now done I've multiplied row 1 by both column 1 and column 2. It's time to switch rows. So let's go ahead and switch rows. We're now going to do row 2, column 1. All right. Well, since it's row 2, column 1, it's going to go row 2, first column. So everybody's going to go right here and we multiply together corresponding elements, which means I am going to have, sorry, let me erase that stray mark. There we go. Looks like I'm going to have a negative 1 times 4. So I will have negative 1 times 4 plus 0 times 0. Awesome, that's going to be easy. Plus 4 times 3 plus 2 times a negative 2. Okay, that takes care of row 2 times column 1. Now I'll do row 2 times column 2. All right, let's do that. Multiply corresponding elements, which means that I'm going to have a negative 1 times a negative 1 plus 0 times 2 plus 4 times 1 plus 2 times 0. All right, put brackets around that. And there we go. I have taken care of now the product of the corresponding elements. for each row and column. Now all I got to do is sum these guys up, and I will have my, actually, sorry, I haven't taken care of the products yet. Let me do that. I haven't multiplied these guys together, so let's do that next. So this is going to be here, let's see, I'm going to have 12 plus, 12 plus 2 times 0 is going to be 0, plus 0 times 3 is going to be 0. 1 times a negative 2 will be a minus 2. Over here, I'd have 3 times a negative 1, which would be a minus 3. 2 times 2 would be 4. 0 times 1 would be 0. 1 times 0 would be 0. Negative 1 times 4 is going to be a minus 4 plus 0 plus 12. 2 times a negative 2 would be a negative 4. Negative 1 times a negative 1 is going to be a positive 1. 0 times 2, 0. 4 times 1, 4. 2 times 0 is 0. There we go. I apologize. Now I have done all of my products. All I'm left doing here is adding those up to get my final matrix. So my product matrix is going to be this. It looks like if I do 12 minus 2 should be a 10. Negative 4 plus 12 minus 4 should be 4. Negative 3 plus 4 should be a positive 1. And 1 plus 4 should be 5. And that is my product matrix, this guy right there. Again, what I've done is I have walked through showing every possible step, determining whether the matrix can be multiplied together. I wrote out all of my products, which I then did here, going from this step to this step. I then wrote out all of my sums, which I did going from this step to this step to get my product matrix. Now, when we go on to do the next problem, what are some of the things you probably should begin to get comfortable with practice doing in your head? Well, in the next one, what I'm going to do is, instead of writing out my multiplication, I'll just do the multiplication as I go through the matrices. So I'll write all of my products and then the sum of those products. I'll actually skip writing this matrix right here and go straight to this matrix. Then from here, I can go to here. Then we're going to do a third one where I skip all of that. We're going to do everything on our head. It's good mental math. Yes, we're going to give our brains a little bit of a workout, but it's a good thing to try. It's great mental math. We will do all of the products, sum those products in our head, and go straight from the two matrices I started with to my product matrix. Now, here's what I don't want you to do. Please do not think that you have to go straight from the matrices I want you to multiply to your product matrix. If you need to write some things down to help you keep track of it, please do so. It's something I would encourage you to work toward. And as you get more practice and become more and more comfortable with multiplying matrices, eventually you're going to get there. I will say this. For smaller matrices like the ones we're going to do here, matrices that are 3 by 2 or 2 by 2 or 3 by 3, right? Doing it in your head, no problem. When you get to matrices that are 4 by 4, 4 by 5, 5 by 5, I'm not even going to attempt to do those in my head. It's way too many numbers to keep track of. I will write stuff down as I go. But for the most part, we're going to keep our matrices fairly reasonable in size. And so here we go. Let's try another one. Again, like I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip that initial step where I show all of my multiplication. I need to multiply these two matrices together. I recognize that they are the same size, 2 by 2, 2 by 2, which means that absolutely we will be able to multiply these guys together. And let's go ahead and do it. I'm going to do row 1, column 1, 6 times 5 is going to be a negative 30, right? Minus 30, and then I'll have a negative 3 times 3. So here we go. I have a minus 30 which I will add to a negative 3 times 3, which would be a minus 9. Awesome. Row 1, column 2. 6 times a minus 4, minus 24, which I'm going to add to a negative 3 times another positive 3. I get yet again a minus 9. Okay, I've now done row 1 times column 1 and column 2, so now we switch rows. Row 2, column 1. Minus 10 times a minus 5 is going to be 50. We're going to add that to a negative 2 times a positive 3, so minus 6. All right. Well, now we switch it. We go row 2 and column 2 to get our last element here. Negative 10 times a negative 4 is going to be a positive 40. And a negative 2 times a positive 3, yet again we get a minus 6. All right, so there we go. There's my matrix. I've already done my multiplication. Now all I have to do is a little bit of addition. So here we go. Negative 30 minus 9 should be... Oh, wait a second. I apologize. Hold up a second. What is going on here? Yeah. I like it. We're good. I'm sorry. I thought I saw something that freaked me out a little bit. Here we go. Minus 30 plus a negative 9 should be a minus 39. So we have negative 39. And then we have a minus 24 plus a negative 9 should give me a minus 33. We're going to have 50 minus 6 should be a, let's see, yeah, 44. And 40 plus a negative 6 is going to, of course, be 34. All right, so there we go. I have got my product matrix, the result of multiplying these two matrices together. Let's head on over to the next page here, and I've got another one for you. What we're going to do here in this one, guys, is we're going to go ahead and try to do all of this in our heads, right? We're going to do lots of mental math here. It's going to be a good workout for us. Let's see how this goes. You ready? We're going to do 5 times 2, right? Row 1, column 1. Row 1, column 1. 5 times 2 is 10. 10. We're going to do 9 times 6, which is 54. I now need to add those together. 10 plus 54 should be 64. Okay. Now I do row 1, column 2. Well, 5 times a negative 1 is going to be a minus 5. 9 times a negative 5 is going to be a minus 45. Negative 5 plus minus 45, you guessed it, minus 50. Keep going. Now that I've done row 1 times column 1 and column 2, I have to switch rows, so now we go row 2. Row 2, column 1, negative 3 times 2 would be a minus 6. Negative 2 times 6 is going to be a minus 12. Negative 6 plus a minus 12, yeah, negative 18. Okay, one last one to go. Row 2, column 2, negative 3 times a negative 1 is going to be a positive 3. Negative 2 times a negative 5 is going to be a positive 10. 3 plus 10, 13. That is my product matrix. You just did all of that math in your head. That is really, really good mental math. Well done, guys. Again, I know it is going to take practice. I am not saying that this is easy. It isn't. But once you get the pattern down, right, it'll stick with you. You'll get more and more comfortable with the pattern and doing the matrix multiplication, and hopefully get to a point where 2 by 2 matrices, you can do those in your head. That would be fantastic. Let's go ahead and try this one right here. I've got a word problem for you guys. Well, technically a word problem. It is a word problem. But what we're going to need to do is matrix multiplication in order to solve this guy out. And here's what it is. It's about a swim meet. We've got 4 high schools that are all participating in a swim meet. And I give you some information about it. At the swim meet, 7 points are awarded for first place. 4 points are awarded for second place. 2 points for third place. I want you to find the total number of points that each school received during this meet and figure out which school won. I have all of the information listed for you here as far as the school and the number of first, second, and third place finishes that each of those schools took. We're going to set up matrix multiplication here to go ahead and solve this problem. And here's, oh, sorry, I got a straight line there. Don't want that. Here's how we're going to do it. My first matrix is going to be the number of points that are awarded for a first, second, and third place finish. So you get 7 points for a first place finish. You get 4 points for a second place finish and 2 points for a third place finish, right? 7, 4, and 2. We'll put that into a matrix. What I'm then going to do is multiply that by the results of the meet. So 4, 7, 3, 8, 9 and 1, 10, 5 and 3, 3, 3 and 6. Now, again, in order to be able to multiply these matrices together, I need to check their dimensions. This matrix right here is a 3 by 1. Wait, sorry. Hold up. I apologize. Put them in the wrong order. Here you go. Multiplied by 7, 4, 2. There we go. This is going to work out way better. Way better. Here we go. So I have a 1, 2, 3. This is a 4 by 3 matrix. 4 by 3. This is a 3 by 1. 3 by 1. I need those middle numbers to be the same, and they are. So matrix multiplication is defined for these matrices, so that's what we're going to go ahead and do. All right, so here we go. I'm going to take row 1. I only have one column, so row 1 times column 1, 4 times 7, 7 times 4, 3 times 2, and here we go. I get 28. Oh, there it is, 28 plus 28 plus 6. All right, then we're going to do 8 times 7, 9 times 4, 1 times 2. 8 times 7 is 56. 9 times 4 is 36. And 1 times 2 would be 2. All right. 10 times 7, 5 times 4, 3 times 2. So we're going to have 70 plus 20 plus 6. And my last one, 3 times 7, 3 times 4, 6 times 2. 3 times 7 is going to be 21. 3 times 4 is going to be 12. And 6 times 2 is going to be 12. All right, awesome. All we got to do is add all those numbers together. Again, please feel free to use a calculator. If you do that, I get 62, 94, 96, and 45. All right. So this is my product matrix, and here's the way it works. Central High School scored 62 points. Franklin High School scored 94. Hayes scored 96. Lincoln scored 45. Who was our winner? Sure enough, Hayes was our winner with 96 points, right? They scored the most points at this swim meet. Guys, that takes care of these problems here when it comes to matrix multiplication. I hope you enjoyed it. I sure had a lot of fun. Head on over to the next page of the notes. We'll take a look at some other things. Meet you there.